Okay. Let's see. Can anybody hear me?
I can.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, I can too.
Okay.
I can.
Okay, good. All right, we're a little early. Welcome. I'm Alan Nowicki. This is Human Anatomy and Physiology 1. We're going to stall for a couple minutes because there should be more people showing up. This is in place of the lab for week 1. So, and we'll talk about the whole course. We'll just go over everything once we get going. So hang in there. We're twiddling our thumbs so that we can let the other people all hear the same thing. What you could do if you wanted was you could type your name into the chat. I take attendance. So that, and that's how I do it. So if you want to type your name into the chat, then I'll know you're here. The other thing I should warn you is this is being recorded. So anything you say or type in is recorded. So, we just have to keep it kind of clean and treat each other with respect, and hopefully that will be easy to do. But and not reveal anything personal, because that could wind up who knows where. Generally, I will post these if everything comes out okay. So again, we'll just kind of do our best to keep it rated G. All right. So people are showing up. If you just logged on, you can type your name into the chat. That's how I take attendance. Okay. So we got a couple minutes yet. This is Human Anatomy and Physiology 1. We're meeting for the lab that would normally occur from 8 to 10:50 a.m. on Thursdays. Okay, so what do I got here? 8, 10, 11. I should have 17, 18. So we'll stall a little bit more. Okay. So that's good. Everyone here found the link, so that's nice. I've also sent links for meetings. We'll have regular meetings during the lecture time on Mondays and on Fridays. And so there'll be a link coming for the Friday as well. And hopefully that will show up today. All right. So we're still not quite there. But that's well, I'm gonna post this, so if people are late, they'll have to listen to it online. Okay, so Human Anatomy and Physiology 1, we use the OpenStax textbook. This is available at the Highland bookstore. It's about $50. That's a really good deal. We used to have a textbook that cost over $300. So this is. $50 is $50, but it's a really good deal. It is available free online, but only the electronic version. And really, for as much as you're going to need this, it's important to have it, to have the hard copy so that you can write in it, that you can take it over in a chair and fall asleep with it, that you can spill food on it, all those things that you wouldn't want to do with your computer. Okay, I see Caroline's there, so I want to introduce Caroline. So normally we have, if I have a person that took it a previous year, I sometimes have a tutor, and we make the tutor available, and tutoring really helps. Often students learn better from the tutor than they can from the instructor, because the tutors are going through the same process or have gone through it very recently. And so we're lucky to have a supplemental instructor who's a student that's taken it pretty recently, just in the fall of 2019, and did really well. And she's actually moved on into her major, and that's Caroline Jeffrey. And Caroline's here. You want to say hi, Caroline?
Hi guys. I took it last fall, like fall of 2019, I believe. And it's a hard class, but it's definitely doable if you put in the work for it. And I'm happy to help anybody during supplemental instruction, or even if you want to set up a meeting outside of that too, I'd be happy to help you.
Okay. And so she's going to meet with you guys on Friday. She'll go through some practice questions and exercises that we do, and it's a good time for you to ask questions from someone that's recently been in your chair, that's recently had to go through it. And she took it with me and did extremely well, and that's really helpful. That's a really great way to do things. And so, and I think it's really important to recognize, like, look at the size of this book. This is huge. We won't get through all of it, but it'll be like 750 pages in a semester. And it's tough reading. It's not like reading the Twilight series or something like that, where you can rip through 100 pages pretty fast. It's slow reading. Each chapter it's like 50 pages of difficult reading with lots of new terminology, lots of specific details that you have to memorize. We all can do it. I guarantee you, all of us can do it, but it takes time. It takes repetition. You will know this. For those of you that are going into nursing, you'll know most of this like backwards and forwards, left and right by heart. You'll be able to say it in your sleep because you'll be living it every day in a couple of years. And every day you'll get you'll use these things every day, and it'll become like second nature. But it takes a while to get there. It takes practice. And so you've got to kind of get yourself through that first stage of practicing, and it'll come. It's clearly just a practice thing. It's like learning a sport or a musical instrument. Everybody can do it. Almost everybody can learn piano if they spend enough time on it. And this is the same thing. If you spend enough time on it, it'll learn. You'll learn it. You'll know these terms. Lots of it is just learning those types of things. So I want to encourage you to recognize how much time you're going to have to spend on this. I spend a ton of time on it, and I've been doing it for years and years and years, but I still have to review it all the time. Okay, so let me. Does anybody have any questions? Sure.
I do. As far as the schedule goes, I saw that you emailed back and said Monday and Friday are our Zoom meetings.
Right.
And then as far as lab goes, is that just a week by week basis if we have it or not, or how? Just so I know what I need to work in the morning, because I work night shift, so I would leave straight from work to go out to report.
Okay. We have lab every week, but we will not be in lab in person for at least the first 5 weeks, because things of the way things are. I can only have 10 people in the lab at one time because of limits on social distancing. And so for a while, we're going to do labs as pen and paper exercises, looking at various things online. It might be a movie. It might be a series of pictures through a microscope. But it'll be pen and paper online activities for at least the first 5 weeks. Okay. Afterwards, if things ease up, then we may do some things in person. Okay, where I'll have you in groups of 10. I'll have you in for about an hour. It's even more likely what it is that will happen then is that I'll have you come in and pick up some materials and go home and do some activities with those materials. I can't say for sure what's going to happen, but we're pretty sure we have to do social distancing and masks for the rest of the semester, for sure, no matter what. And it's likely that we're limited in person to groups of 10.
Okay. And then our lab meetings, like today, is always going to be 9 o'clock?
If we do have an online lab meeting, it'll be at 9 o'clock.
Okay. In person, 8 o'clock, right?
In person, maybe 8 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock or 9:30, something like that. Because I'll have to split you in two groups. So if
Okay.
we do in person, we have to do it in groups of 10 people at a time.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. So and that's still kind of up in the air. So okay. All right. Well, let's look at. Yeah, I'm going to share a screen here. So let's see if let's look at the schedule of lectures that we have. Okay, so you should see an AP1, A&P1 lecture schedule and reading assignments. Does anybody see that? Yes. Okay. All right. So this was the week that began January 19th. That was Tuesday. And most weeks you will read one chapter in the anatomy book, in this book right here, Anatomy and Physiology. Okay. That's that first chapter is kind of organization of the body. It also introduces us to a really important idea of homeostasis. It's about 40 some pages long. Okay, that's a lot. You're going to read that. By the end of this week, you should have also looked at there are 3 little lectures online. They're like 10 minutes each. Okay. One is kind of just an introduction, how things are going to go. One or 2 of them are dealing with topics that are presented in chapter 1 and kind of give you some additional explanation on that and some illustrations. Okay. Then also in week 1, in the week 1 Moodle box, there's a quiz and a writing exercise. For this week, the writing exercise is just to introduce yourself and to look at the introductions for other people in the class. The quiz that you get is a quiz regarding chapter 1. It'll give you a series of multiple choice questions and true false questions. It's only 10. You only get 10 questions. And you can take that quiz as many times as you want. It won't give you the correct answer. It'll just give you a score. But you'll get some idea of how you're doing by that score. It only records the highest score. So if you take it 75 times and get a 1 74 times, but a 10 on the 75th time, the only thing that will show up in the grade book is a 10. Okay, and so that's that's a kind of a practice type exercise. Take those quizzes with your book open and next to you and practice with that. And so that's something that's going to happen each week. Those quizzes are only open a week. Okay, and so you've got to keep up. So you can do those any time of day, any day of the week, but you've got to do them each week. And so there'll be a quiz on chapter 1 this week. Next week, the quiz will be on chapter 2. You can't fall behind, because once it closes, it closes. Okay, about after we've covered 3 or 4 chapters, there'll be a longer exam. That longer exam will have something like 50 questions and 45, 50 questions. And it'll cover topics that are been through that we've been through in those 4 chapters. There'll be some new questions, some old questions that you've seen, but it's going to emphasize the same types of subjects. And so our first exam comes the week of February 8th. You'll take it at home. Okay, you'll take that online. Okay, we have exams hopefully just before spring break. There'll be an exam, and then an exam the week of April 19th, and then a final exam coming the week of May 13th to May 19th. Okay, we're going to cover the first 16 chapters in that textbook, and so that's about 750 pages. Okay, does anybody have any questions? So that schedule is available on Moodle, and so you can print it or you can just have it on Moodle. Let's look at our Moodle thing here. How does our Moodle thing look? Is this the Moodle one? I don't know. Let's share that. No, that's not the Moodle. Okay, hold on. Let's not share that. Let's share Moodle. That's the screen. Is that it? I think that might be. It's not it, but it's it. Okay. So you should see the Highland Community College orange banner across the top, and it says Moodle. Does anybody see that? Yes. Okay. So each week there'll be one of these boxes opening. Okay. This is week 1. It's chapter 1, Introduction to the Human Body. There's the reading assignment, read chapter 1. There's a study guide that has a list of vocabulary words, the kind of keywords that you should know that have very specific meanings in biology. There's the quiz on chapter 1. You can take that as many times as you want. Just click on it. Okay. There's the introduction to A&P, kind of my introduction to myself. And then 2 lectures, one on anatomy and one on physiology. Here's the forum where it asks you to introduce yourself. You're going to write a paragraph or 2. You can see lots of us have already done it. That's really good. Okay, let's go back. And there's for this week, you're going to watch a movie on homeostasis. Okay, and then it asks you for lab to do exercise 1. And so if you click on that, it says you can submit a photo of page 21 in the lab manual. That's exercise 1 review. That means complete questions 34 through 38. Your name should be written in ink on the top of the page and visible in the photo. The photo should be formatted as a JPEG, a PDF, or a document X. Okay, so for you, there'll be a submit the thing here, and you can dump it in there, and then I'll see it. This has to be done by January 27th, so that's the due date. So that's a week from yesterday. So that's when you have to do that. Okay. All right. So that was all this first week stuff. Okay. So that's what we're going to have. In addition, we'll have on Mondays, I'll have a Zoom meeting where I'll kind of give you a preview of what's up, and that will come, I think, at 11:30. And then on Fridays, there'll be some practice stuff with Caroline. Okay. And so that will, we'll see how that goes. As I don't know how can you set up a Zoom, Caroline? Have you tried?
Yeah, I was actually making a Zoom account right now. Sorry, it's really loud in here. There's a maintenance person in my apartment. But I think I need to contact Highland because it won't let me do like longer than a certain amount with more than 3 people unless Highland like overrides it.
Yeah. So I think maybe I should set up the Zoom, and I don't know if I can make you the host. I might have to be there, but we'll see. So at least for this week, I will set up the Zoom and I'll email everybody, and I'll be there at least to start it. And I think I can pass the hosting stuff on to you. Okay. All right. So
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. So Fridays, are they going to be mostly like a study group between the class?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's, I think she'll have some activities for us, some questions to do. It's a good chance to say, I don't get this at all. and sometimes, one of the things is that's sometimes you'll say that, and Caroline will say, that's really important. He asked about this on the exam. And other times she'll say, I don't remember that. He didn't ask about that. And I don't even remember reading it. And I don't think it's important. And she's probably right, because she did extremely well on exams, and she was a really good student. And so there's some things that they stick in the chapter, or some things that I wind off on tangents in my program sometime. And she'll be able to tell you that. And she'll be able to give you hints, spend a lot of time here. He doesn't, there's 10 pages on it in the textbook, but he's not going to ask it, or maybe there'll be one question. And so that's part of knowing where to spend your time. And Caroline knows that. She's figured all that out. So,
How much
okay.
how much do the reviews in the back of the book help I mean, I know you guys have some study guides offered here. Do you suggest doing the reviews in each chapter then too? Or is that part of the assignments?
Um, Caroline, let Caroline answer that.
I don't think I did the reviews in the back of the book too often. Sometimes they're nice to just look over and ask yourself, do I know this and stuff? But I don't think I like sat there and went through them all. I think it's more helpful to read the chapter and kind of review your own notes and stuff, because it's more what's on the PowerPoints is more what's going to be heavily focused on the exams.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
And then where can you find that the assignment you were talking about that we turn in at the 27th or whatever it was, those questions? Where do I find that sheet in the manual? Is in the book itself?
that's in the lab manual. That's the lab manual looks like this. It's got the guy in the yellow shirt. Okay, and exercise 1 is it does a lot of I don't know if you can see that. It's a lot of terminology, and then at the end of that, there's this review section.
Okay.
And the review section, the page you're going to turn in is this page 21. Okay, I got to go this way, and it has the woman there, and you're naming her surface regions, and it has just a couple questions. We're going to use the numbers on the top of the page. Unfortunately, there's also numbers somewhere. There's also numbers like on the side of the page. And, when you do custom publishing, things get screwed up. But this is it. Available at the bookstore, the Highland bookstore. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Good questions. What was I doing? Okay. So you should be looking at the Moodle stuff for sure. Do the quiz like immediately, okay, just so you get an idea what it is, and you can do that before you do any reading. That's okay, so I've got, by chance I'm going to get 3 of them right, probably, and so that can, it gives you a place to start. Okay, let's do another. Any other questions? Okay, let's see here. I've got okay, so a couple extra people showed up. First of all, put your name in the chat if you just showed up. That's how I take attendance. I record these things, and I post them. I often post them. And so again, if your questions should be rated G and not contain any personal information. So don't send me your social security number. Let's see. If you submitted the lab homework, I can check. But I don't, it takes me a while to check. And so the unfortunate thing is that different people are in different lecture sections. And so then it comes up in different ways. So I will look for it. Okay. So let me look at the grading stuff. Okay. So I have also on Moodle is the grading and policy handout. It just kind of has my contact information. I'm not in my office as much as I used to be, so the best way to contact me is by email. Please use your Highland email address. Otherwise, if you use other email address, it may filter it out and send it to my spam folder, which I don't check. The graded work. So this just gives you an idea of every week there should be a reading assignment. There'll be recorded lectures that you should view every week. There'll be a Moodle chapter quiz every week. After this week, there'll be a Moodle lab quiz that you'll get. There usually are these Moodle assignments, the forum assignment and the documents that you submit by taking a picture of them. Okay, and then the Zoom meetings. So these Zoom meetings, there is points for attendance and participation. So that's why you're typing in your name, and you'll get points for both the Monday and the Friday Zoom meeting. Okay. And the grading. So that's the point breakdown right there, that table. The total Zoom meetings are worth about 50 points. The chapter quizzes for on Moodle are worth 10 points apiece, and we'll have, I think, 15 of those, actually 16, but I'll probably throw out the lowest one. The exams are worth 100 points apiece and a final. And then there's lab quizzes. We should also have 15 of those. The lab exams, I've got 2 scheduled, but I only made them worth 100 points because who knows if we're going to really get to do that. And then the lab assignments, again, worth probably about 100 points. That includes the forums and the ones you submit. Okay. So it's important each week to keep up with it, because some of these things are week by week. And so if you don't log in for 2 weeks, you're going to miss a whole bunch of stuff. And so this is not a sprint, it's a marathon, that we're involved in a kind of a long-term project here. And we learn this by repetition. And so each week there's like 30 to 40 new vocabulary terms. There's some ideas that we have to get across, and it keeps building. And so it gets to be more and more and more. Most of us are going to go into, well, not me. most of you are going into health science careers, nursing, things like therapists, or occupational physical therapy assistants, speech pathologists, pharmacology, things like that. This is the terminology that you're going to have to use on the job, the background knowledge that you're going to need to learn your specific stuff, your assessments, your patient evaluations, and so it all builds, and it'll become second nature after a while if you have enough practice. Okay, and so we just have to get to that point. Okay, what else do I want to say? So there's a movie to watch on homeostasis, about 20-minute movie. So that link will get you to the Highland library. You'll have to put in your HCC information, and you should be able to watch that there. You're going to submit some homework on a page there, and then you should be getting ready to do the Zoom on Friday. Okay, and there'll be a Zoom link coming to you today. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Caroline, would you like to add anything? I forget stuff every time.
I was just gonna say, I think something that really helped me is those quizzes that are open, and I don't know, do they close Friday nights or is it Sunday nights?
Usually Sunday nights.
They're unlimited attempts, and if you saw, like, that's 150 points for the semester, that's as much as the final is worth. And if you just keep doing them until you can get a 90 or 100, that's really gonna like help your grade and just give you a good basis, even if you maybe don't do as well on a test, like it's going to maybe keep you off the edge of getting a C instead of a B or something. So that's something that I would really try to do if you can.
It's a really good way to practice. And if you've done all those quizzes, you'll probably be ready for the exam. It's the same things that are on the exam are important on the quizzes. And so it's I'm not giving you a fake one way and going the other. It's usually where we're trying to master, the big ideas in each chapter. And then it's just the volume of terminology, that's the thing. And so it's just hang in there. It's practice. And a bad day, okay, that's all right. There's lots of quizzes, lots of exams. If you keep at it, it'll pay off in the end. Okay. Does anybody else have any more questions?
Can you repeat again what you said about using in the HCC's library? Was there a video or something?
So yes, excellent question. So the movies Highland subscribes to a service called Films on Demand, and it's through the Highland Library. Sometimes I will embed those right into the Moodle box. Other times I'll just have a link, and you'll have to, either way, if it's embedded or if there's a link, to see the movie, you have to put in your Highland login information. So the same stuff, and there'll be this yellow box, and it'll say username login, and so you'll have to put that in. So you have to, obviously that because you've got into Moodle, so you'll be able to just have to re-enter that stuff in to watch the movie.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Most of the times when I do my recorded lectures, those are YouTubes, and so that link will go to a YouTube and it'll just start playing because it's free.
Oh, okay.
But the movies, Highland had to buy those so that we have access to them, and so then the website requires that you have a Highland login to use it. Okay, and again, this is all about repetition. Repetition is really useful. You can't expect yourself to read a whole series of terms in a book like this and remember it if you've only done it once. Okay, but if you've practiced it, if you've written it down, if you've heard it a bunch of times, if you said it, all those things will help cement it in your mind. That's how memory works. Memory works through repetition. And so if you hear a song enough, eventually you'll know the words. And it's the same with anatomy and physiology. If you work with it enough, you'll know these words. If you've said femur 30 times, you'll know that the thigh bone is the femur. That's the anatomy name for it. It's just repetition. And so that's the secret. That's the secret. What is the secret to doing well in anatomy? It's repetition. There's, every week it's going to be 30, 50, 100 words. And that's what we have to do. The good news is, though, it's the same words you learn here will be the words you have to know in nursing or in speech pathology. That you'll if you learn them now, the next course will be easier, and so it's helpful. And the other thing is, once you learn the name of the bones, often the muscles have a similar name. They're often talk about what bone they're attached to, and once you know the name of the bones and the muscles, then the blood vessels that flow underneath them usually have the same name, and so it's if we put in enough time, it'll eventually just become second nature. And so practice is, it's the sauce that's good on everything. And so that's what we, it's like barbecue sauce. If you put practice on it, everything will work. You can master everything. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Okay. Watch your email, check the news forum. Oh, yes, go ahead.
Okay, I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Is the Anatomy Man the workbook, or was the book you just showed something different?
Well, you have two resources. The one is this one. That's the big, thick anatomy book. That's $50 at the bookstore. Okay. Then you also need this book. This is the lab manual. Okay, yeah, right there. That's like $90. Okay, so you need two of those, two books. Okay, this contains all the details. Okay, it takes a blizzard of details. This is what we're going to do in lab exercise. It has the worksheets on it that you have to fill out and turn in. Okay, and so you need them both.
Okay. And there's no Wednesday class?
No Wednesday, but there's all sorts of stuff online for you to do. So we don't meet Wednesday, but you should still be working.
That's all I have.
Okay, okay,
Thank
good.
you.
You're welcome. Okay. Yes,
We meet Monday and Friday.
Monday and Friday, some Thursdays.
Will you email us?
Yes. So the Monday link you have already, I emailed you that. And that one link is good for 17 weeks. Okay, so it's in your email. It's also in the news box in there. So if you go in there and it says Monday links and you open that up, that link is live and you can go there all the time. So I lose my emails after a while. I just get so many. So that's right there. So those things will come. The lab links I'll send to you separately when we need them. Okay, so I won't have a repeating lab link. Okay. All right. Thank you. I think it will be fun. It's a lot of work, but keep it up. You can do it. This is if you do well here, the next courses go well, and so it'll be helpful. And so be well prepared from this one. Then Anatomy 2 will go well, and then your nursing courses will go well, or your speech pathology or your physical therapy courses. Okay. All right. I see the dog.
Yeah, it's my roommate's dog.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to sign out. Send me an email. I'm checking emails. There's lots of them this first week, so I'm behind, but I will get to them. Okay. All right. See you later.
Bye, thank you.
You're welcome.